Welcome back to another full escape room puzzle solve. Today we'll explain the logic behind the puzzles in the escape room hallway accident and escape simulator. We'll show you how to solve the puzzles and as well explain the logic behind them. So we start off in this room. Obviously we can see our escape hatch here. There's a bunch of debris that we're likely going to have to clear, obviously, to be able to escape through this door. I would recommend when you start this room, only because it gets pretty messy. Obviously there is a trash can in the corner that you can kind of put all of the garbage as you go through, but it's a lot easier if you just kind of collect everything off the floor before you start tearing this room up. So we'll start with that. I would recommend just with the metal pieces for a puzzle later in this room. I would pick up all of the metal that you can find here. You should have a total of 6. So you can see at the bottom there, so far we have a counter of 2 there plus 1. Now we have 4 total, and there will be another 2 pieces also. So we have one in the corner of the room here, and where is our last one? Right here. Perfect. So now that we have all the metal pieces, you'll see in the corner here that there's a drone recipe on a tablet in the corner. We'll go ahead and pick that up. And also just under some of the debris here, there is a damaged key card. Now this drone we'll need later in the room. Oh, sorry, there's another key card on the floor here too. Thought that was in the closet, but apparently not. So there is a drone that's in the middle of the floor. Obviously it's big enough that we're not going to lose it, so we can go ahead and leave that for now. The kind of where we start this puzzle is by connecting these wires and stuff here. So go ahead and open up this panel. We'll turn the power off for now. If you try and put these pin connectors on, the pin connectors we just get from this closet here, but if you try and put the pin connectors on when the power's on, it won't actually let you establish any sort of connection. So there's a couple of things in this closet also. I guess realistically we can go ahead and pick these up too. We'll get the other drone recipe. There was the 2 damaged key cards that we picked up. This one here is a read-write key card that we're going to end up reprogramming using those 2 damaged ones. So we can collect that for now. This tablet has instructions on how to use the scrap metal, the metal replicator over here. This is really what we're trying to reconnect the power for. So we can save this for now until we get to that point of the puzzle. We can pick up one of these tools also. This tool is what's going to help us remove these floor panels and expose some of the wires underneath here. So really what we're looking for is this package here of the connector pins. So grab it, inspect it, and give it a quick open. We will collect these 3 connector pins here. We can start by putting the first one in right here, and we can connect the other visible and exposed one here. Another good thing to do is just expose this panel and flip this dial and flip this off. This will just turn the smoke off, that way we can actually see the metal replicator and use it also. We can pull out that tool that we got from this closet here and start just loosening these floor panels, and you'll see in just a second what I mean by this room getting kind of messy as you're trying to work through it. So we've got all 6 of these panels kind of up. We just got to kind of move all of these lids to the side so we can see what we're working with underneath here. Just going to give all this stuff a good huck across the room. Got to remember that the drone's caught up in all that garbage, but so we'll go through, we'll reconnect that. This one's connected to black wires, but that's fine. We can leave that one for now. There is another one over here. I don't think it matters between these 2 which one we take. We'll see really quickly whether or not it does, but we do want to make sure that at a minimum all of the red ones are connected. So you can see the power from this panel or from the metal replicator goes through the floor here and is all the way connected to this power. So we'll flick the power on, everything boots up, and we're all good. So now that this basket's open, we can go ahead and use that. I'm just going to drag the drone out to the middle of the floor here. So now we can inspect this tablet. So basically what it's saying is there's a few pieces, so like the thruster here and the cone, that we're trying to make in this metal replicator so that we can use the drone. So this is just explaining some of the different metal types. So we'll have 3 options when we open the metal replicator that we can see. So one is a full metal, one is an empty metal. I'm going to call it spotted just for kind of the purposes of this video. It's a little easier to visualize. And then there's checkered, which ultimately means it's going to alternate when we're filling the grid out between full and empty. So as it says here, counts how many times to run the instructions from 0 to 9. I'll show you an example of really what that is. So to pin the first recipe, let's pin the one that I find is a little easier to kind of recreate here. So we'll go ahead and we'll pin the cone. Actually, I guess it would make sense to deposit our metals first. So we'll go ahead and put these in. So we have, all of the metal that we picked up off the floor, we have to go ahead and deposit that now. And this will tell the machine really what types of metals we have to work with. So like I said, we're looking for 6 metal objects to deposit here. So that's 4, 5, and 6. And you'll realize here that it tells you metal inserted 6 kilograms. It's just 1 kilogram per piece, but it does kind of make up your empty metals and your full metals. So to recreate this cone, I'll just give you a quick example of what, say, 9 would look like. So it's just going to go through and it's going to create 9 squares of the spotted metal and then 0 and 0. If we were to go through and create, say, 8 spotted and 1 solid, it'll go through and spit out 8 of the spotted metals and then tack on a solid. If we wanted to add, say, 7, 2, and 1, this will fill out this square here with 7 of the spotted ones. It'll add a solid and then another empty one here. So really what we want to do is kind of figure out how, in what order, first of all, of metals do we need, and what number of metals do we need to be able to recreate the cone here. So we're looking to turn that metal into a functional piece to be able to power the drone. So what we want to do here is to start with solid. We'll give 9 solid here. We'll start with, the second one will be spots, and we'll put in 5, and then the last one will be 8 solid. So we can see that as it'll go through and do its thing, it's going to recreate this cone here. So turn that metal into a functional piece that we can use and put on the drone. Perfect. So here's our drone cone right here. We'll go ahead and pick that and get rid of this pin, and we will boot up our thruster now, which, like I said, it's a little bit more complicated only because you rely heavily on the alternating. So what we want to do now is do 8 of the spotted metals. We're going to do 9 of the split, or where it alternates, and then we're going to just have 1 spotted metal to cap everything off, and this will help us produce our thruster here. So there's our 8 spotted. Now it'll go through and alternate, and that'll just erase there. Perfect. So here's our thruster. We'll go ahead and unpin this. Now what we want to do is be able to put these pieces on the drone. So we can lift this up and inspect it, and what you want to do is drag the cone right onto the front, and then there's an empty spot on the bottom here. You can see we have 3 thrusters already, and then the other thruster that we made will just plug into the bottom there. So now this makes the drone active. There's a switch on the side that you can reposition the drone or rotate the drone. What we're going to want to do is use the drone to burn through this debris. So obviously we want it to face the door. When we flip it over to rotate, it gives us the ability to spin this here. So point it towards the door, and then we turn the laser on. And now we can flip this over to position and drag it to burn the debris, and then we want it to uncover the keypad underneath there. Also, you want to just make sure that you turn the laser off if you run through it. I mean, it acts like it does damage to you. Obviously, it really doesn't. I don't think you can die in this game, but sometimes it does prevent you from doing any actions. So the last puzzle in this is really to just take the information from these damaged key cards and reprogram our read-write card. So with this, what you're looking to do, obviously we can see it's almost like a mini Sudoku puzzle. So we have a 0, 1, 1. If we were to put the card, the read-write card in right now, we're going to want to input that same information. So we'll put 0 here, 1, 1. You can see that this adds up to 2 in this column, that this is 0, this is 1, and this is 1. When we put the other card in, you can see, for example, we put this one in. So obviously this one here has a 1 and a 0. So we'll go ahead and put our read-write in. So this is 1, this is 0, and this would be 0 also. Now what we have to do to figure out our third column is basically just figure out the difference in these rows, or you can go up, down, it doesn't really matter, but the numbers have to make sense. So obviously in this, for this card, the top row is 1, the middle row is 2. So we'll make sure that that makes sense. For our top row to read 1, we would have to have this 0. For the middle row to read 2, this would have to be a 1. Now to get this last row, we'll just put in our first key code. Where are we here? So this last row is going to equal 2. Obviously we're at 1 already. We just flip this to 1. And now we've successfully reprogrammed our read-write card using the information from those other 2. And now we can use this card to escape. Door keys in, just hit the door switch, and that's it. We're out. So a really cool puzzle in this one, as I said. It can get pretty messy, especially if you don't kind of clean as you go, but that's definitely why I recommend just picking up as many pieces as you can off the floor at the beginning. Definitely kind of helps to know what you're doing and what you're looking for in this one, but like I said, it's helpful to have the trash in the corner too. Hopefully this video helped you. If it did, give us a like and subscribe to Friendly Frenzy Games for more guides, tips, and tricks.